Good morning, my friend. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's Trashcraft Tuesday day, so where I take trash and make something journal related with it. Today I am going to make a journal cover. I am in need of making a journal for September. I make a monthly monthly journal for myself to work in. And so September is coming right around the corner. Well, not even around the corner, it's at the end of the week. So I need to make myself a journal. So I thought I'd bring you along and we'd make a journal cover out of trash. So if you didn't see my video last week, I was working with a suspension folder, the ones you put in filing cabinets and then you drop things into them, that was damaged. And I used half of it in last week's Trashcraft Tuesday project. And this week I'm going to use the other half. All I've done so far to prepare this is I traced around one of my previous journals and cut it out. That's all I've done. I prefer the same size journal. It's around A5 size. So that's all I've done. The cover is slightly bigger than A5 because I like to be able to take a full A4 sheet, fold it in half and put it inside. And then I'll end up with just a little gap around the edges that I can put tabs and things on. So I don't need to fold this yet. I don't know why I was going to fold it. So the other thing two more items of trash that we're going to use. So old magazines and old scrap paper of whatever description. So it's going to be truly trash, so it'll be disposed of once we're done with it. So in my case, I'm using my accounting book that I've been using for ages. I don't know what I'll use when I run out of it. I'm going to be punching shapes out, and to support the magazine paper, which doesn't punch very well on its own, I'm using this photocopy weight paper in behind just to make it easier. So this essentially gets thrown away, and then whatever magazines. Now if you don't have access to a lot of magazines, you could use old wrapping paper, old calendars, large book pages where you don't know what else you would make with them because they're beautiful colours but too big to use in a project. You know, anything with whatever colours you would like to use. I've already punched a whole bunch of, I'm going with squares, so a whole bunch of squares, and I'm using this Creative Memories square punch in the 1.5 inch size. And it was given to me, so it's got the previous owner's name on top of there in case you were wondering if you could see that name. So I've punched a whole lot, and I'm just going to do a few on camera just so you can see how I approach it. So this image here, an ad for carrots, and it's a gorgeous, bright, vibrant colour. So first off, I'm going to trim down to where the colour is, like so. And so, you know, there are bits that we're just going to throw away. Now, on this other side, we could also use this. So I'm not going to throw that away yet. I'm going to line up my magazine image on top of my scrap paper. Slide it in. Now I'm trying to only get it in the side that I want punched rather than cut out shapes that I don't actually need or want at the moment. And punch. And I'm doing the punch upside down so I can see exactly what I'm going to end up with. And then just lifting out so you get these squares. You can absolutely keep those and use those for another project. I also find it quite handy to have a pair of tweezers just to get the pieces out if they're being difficult, because they can sometimes be a bit difficult to get out. So I'm just going to break off those little scrap bits and line it up and go again. Just making sure it's all the way in there. Oh, and I got something that didn't punch very well. So it's gone over here, so I could trim that off and be flat, but this one's gone in, so I'm going to discard that one. Sometimes it does go a bit haywire. And, you know, as soon as you turn the camera on, things are going to go a bit wonky. It's like Murphy's Law or something. It's like, you're videoing this, so I'm going to make it difficult for you. So I cut all these bits off just so I've got a clear run for doing the next bit. So because we're using waste paper, it's no big deal if it, you know, you have the odd one that goes a bit wonky. Apart from a bit of time, where you might like, oh, don't really want that frustration, but it's all good. That happens. And I find it, if you don't get it all the way in, then it's too close to the edge where it wants to punch, and that's when it goes wrong. So, isn't that interesting texture and colour? You wouldn't know that it was a carrot. And this is one of my favourite things to do with magazines once I've harvested images that I want, is then to go through looking for textures and colours. So this will punch a bit on the other side, but that's okay. Don't want the other bit anyway. Doesn't matter if it tears trying to get it out, because this is just the waste bit anyway. And then we've got our cool carrot. That's sort of almost, you could tell it was a carrot, but just cool texture and colour in there. I'm just going to trim off these bits. Always trying to work with a clean area for less issues in my punch. And straight across there, because that's not big enough to punch another square. So that's carrots. I also have this other piece, which is an art, what does it say? Yeah, just an art piece in the back of the magazine, and I thought that would make a fun punched out pieces because it's an abstract. It's an interesting title for this piece. Hopefully you can see it without the glare because it is shiny paper. This art piece is called Bondi Was the Best Place to Be a Mermaid. Okay. I don't quite see that myself in terms of that art piece speaking to me, but that's the beauty of art, is that, you know, what's in the artist's head could mean something entirely different to the viewer. But I thought the colours and the patterns were just really fun. So I'm just cutting down to the edges so that I can get the punch into the areas that I need it to. Probably won't so much work on this side where it's quite dark. Want to try and get some of those brighter colours. Excuse me, a bit froggy. So I'm just going to do a few more, and then we're going to start collaging up our cover, because I had just a really strong desire to do a sort of patchwork effect with paper. So that's where I'm headed today. Now, if you don't have this punch, I forgot I had it actually, and it wasn't until I went to go pull out my cuttle bag to do some die cutting of squares that I realised that I had this sitting on my trolley. I thought, well, why not? Let's give that a go. Probably if I die cut them, I would have chosen a slightly bigger square. I don't know. But however, you could do whatever size you like. You could hand cut them, you could punch them, you could die cut them, you could create a template and cut around that. Right, I'm going to get some of this pink and yellow down here if I can. Won't get a lot of the yellow, but and just the tweezers, I find it does make it a bit easier getting in there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that aside, and just to show you what this turns out like, food is actually a great texture. I need to cut that in a bit closer, I think. So these are some sort of sweet dumplings or something by the look of it. I'm going to pop it in on my page. This time I'm not worrying about whether it punches on the other side or not. Just want to show you how food can give a really cool texture when you just isolate a bit of it. Does look very delicious. Looks all caramelly and goldeny and yum. I've just had lunch. I'm not hungry, so, and yet I still find that very appetizing. Right, I did spend the morning punching. That can now go out because I've used everything out of it I want. So go through your magazines. I particularly love to do it once I've harvested any images that I want. And like you think you're finished with the magazine, and then I'll go back through looking for the textures in the background. Now I'm going to take my little pottle of punch shapes. I'm just going to put them out beside me, I think, because I want to randomize the colors. You know, make sure I've got a nice spread. One of my favorite magazines also for doing this sort of thing with is these patchwork type magazines, because you have beautiful quilts and designs that are already beautifully colorful and textured and just gorgeous, like this one. I didn't do this one because I've already done a pink one out of this magazine, but just, yeah, really fun. I almost did this one, but again, I can go back to that if I need more than what I've already punched. So lots of things you can use for this. And I'm just going to start. Now, I measured this. I didn't actually measure it. I just lay out some of my squares and worked out how many I need. And they don't fit perfectly across, so I'm going to kind of leave some gap. I probably need to do it first and wrap them around the edge. And if there's gaps in between, I'm not worried because I've just got this green in the background. So I kind of need to work out where I'm placing them. So I'm not making a pattern, I'm just using colour in the squares. So this was, I think, 8 across and 6 up. Was from memory what it was. Just making sure I mix and match the colours and patterns. So a lot of these are just one-offs, just a bit that caught my eye and it's like, yeah, I can get a square out of that. And then some are like multiple from the same pattern. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we need 9, which is what I actually thought I needed. So I calculated in total, I think I need about 54 squares, but I didn't like properly work it out. Right. So I'm just going to start, and I am going to cover this in packing tape or book cover seal, plastic cover. So I'm not worried too much about getting them completely glued down properly. If you aren't going to do that, then a layer of Mod Podge or matte medium or something would be a good idea, because it's going to get any edges that you didn't glue down properly, and it's also going to protect it from its life of wear and tear. I don't know if you take your journal around places or not, but even if it's just home, you know, there's still a certain amount of wear and tear that they get flicking backwards and forwards through them over the month or however long you have your journals going for. And then of course in years to come, when you're looking back over your memories, they'll get more wear and tear. So a layer of something is a good idea, just to protect them from even dust or a splash from a stray cup of coffee or bottle of water or something. You know, it happens. So I'm going to fold the bottom down under. I have no idea even if I'm getting these straight, and I'm not actually that worried if they're not straight. because it will still look fun. Still look good. Though I'm getting less and less to fold under, so I seem to be working my way uphill. Let's try and just bring that back down a little bit. It means I'll have a slight kink in the design, but we're just working with trash. Like, we don't need to get too finicky. And just watch me. I know I'm going to get finicky by the end of this process. So, my friend, how is your day going? How is your week going at this very early stage of the week? We're only in day 2. Some of you watching, it might only be day 1. Okay, so I don't want to put this one beside this one because we've got too much orange happening together. So I'm going to go on this side. So this lovely purple bit, I don't even know if you can see that in camera, is a bit of the quilt out of the quilting. Now I could do like half and half, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just stick to the squares. I'm not going to make it too complicated on myself, because I think I would end up getting wildly off kilter. Again, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I'm going to try and, I mean, I'm already off kilter because I've made this adjustment here. It's okay. What I can do is actually overlap them. Where I've adjusted that, I can make it sure the next one goes just slightly over top of it. And that'll kind of bring it back into alignment, because the ones that get folded over aren't going to matter, because we'll put something on the other side to cover it. I haven't actually thought what yet. This was just one piece out of an advertisement where I saw a clear piece. It's got little stars in it, and I thought that would be very cute and pretty. So theoretically, by the time I get here, it should line back up again. I don't know. We shall see. If it doesn't, well, no biggie. And here I managed to get just a little bit of text when I punched the shape. That's okay too. Let's put another bit of this black with its gold speckle on it. It was an ad for perfume that was splashing out of the bottle, and all the black background was all speckled with these gold droplets, which I thought was very pretty. Right, there's some flowers here, some daffodils, and we are heading into spring here in New Zealand, so daffodils seem to me to be a good image to go with. Now, I'm not worried about things being upside down or sideways, because I'm not sure which way is going to be the front or back. Perhaps we'll put this bit here. So yeah, just a bit of fun. If you're into collaging, then you're probably going to enjoy this. If you don't like collaging, give it a go anyway. You never know. Sometimes you've got to do things, processes that you're not that fond of, in order to get the results that you do like and that you do want. Wood grain, this is a part of a table, is a really fun texture to include. And I've got just this one piece of brick that was in the background of something. I was cutting out from one side of the page, flipped it over, and there was just a small bit of brick on the other side, so I punched that. It's painted brick, a brick wall that's been painted white. I thought that was a fun texture. So just working my way along, varying which bits I place down. I am loving the look of this already. I'm going to end up with 2 purple bits, but that's okay. One's patterned and one is not overly. Put some glue in this area here. The yellow bit over here. Love that vibrant, bright yellow. It's very happy. This red is another bit of quilt out of the quilting magazine, as is this bit down here. So they're quite close together, but that's okay. So there's a few gaps here and there, all good. Let's go with a bit of blue. This was an image of glass bottles, all glass blue, all blue glass is what I was trying to say. Very pretty. Okay, let's go next row. This isn't actually going to take as long as I thought it would, which is happy. Right, again, this was just a one-off, a small quilt in the quilting magazine. It was just like in the back of people's quilts that they'd posted in a photo of. I tried to get 2 out of it, but there wasn't enough, but I really liked it. I thought it was quite pretty. Just a little corner of bokeh from a background of a magazine image. This was a group of people, and I just tried to get their clothing because they're all wearing bright, fun clothing. Just trying to give you an idea of different bits and pieces you can perhaps look for. That's why I'm telling you what the pieces are of, to give you the ideas. I don't want that red in the same line. Here's a lace dress. Bit of the dress. Let's go for another bit of the blue bottles. And we're going to put it upside down, just to make sure there's no real direction here. Some pink flowers. Through the next section, let's use a bit of our carrots. Looks cool. And another bit of our purple quilt I think would look good over here. I'm getting glue on my finger. And for the end, let's go with this fabric. It was a bit of fabric from a sofa. Fun texture. Okay, and I'm going to switch, oops, knocking bits onto my lap. Switch it around and start working from the other way. Just it's easier rather than reaching across. Very scratchy, sorry about that. I'm pushing it harder onto the card than I need. So here's a out of focus bit of hydrangea from the background of a magazine image. Here's another bit of that black with the gold speckle, and that is in the same line, but never mind, it's all good. What else have we got here? Just some greenery. It was in the background of a magazine image. And a bit of wood grain here. That was a bit of flooring from a home sort of style magazine. Hopefully I'm giving you ideas and not boring you to death with telling you what each piece is. No, we'll save that. This was a picture of a house with some roses growing over a trellis. So I just got a bit of that where we've got a little corner of the yellow house and some of the flowers, bougainvillea I think it is. Just always looking for the colours and the textures in this. And if you put something in your punch, then you're able to see what it's going to look like before you even punch it. Or even if you want to, take a bit that you've punched, punch out a shape and then lay it over top and see, like, do I like that bit? Is that going to give me something I like? If you're not sure whether you like it, you can do that as well before you even get it near the punch. There's a bit of flax here with the cool yellow and green together. Feel like we need something. My glue is drying over here. Put a bit more on. Bit of red. just plain red. And then let's go with another bit of our purple quilt at this end. There we go. Now we probably won't fit one square. Yeah, we're going to need to put another row, which is fine. And it's only just going to be on the edge. So most of it's going to be wrapped around. So if I had planned it a bit better, I would have put more overlap at the bottom so we had more space at the top. But it'll work out okay. It'll be fine. Sometimes I think it would be easier to go with a pin for the closure for the bottle. Right, here's a bit of our art piece. I don't think oh yes, we have used some of it before. I was like, oh, haven't even used any of that yet, but we have. So I've got plenty here. I don't think I'll be needing to cut any further bits out, which is good. Good enough to do this project. And then I haven't actually thought what I'm going to do on the inside, but I will cover it with something. Use another bit of our carrots. Such a gorgeous colour that. And another bit of our blue bottles. Just blue and orange together, always pretty. And a bit of our red quilt. We've got another bit here, but one will be on the front, one will be on the back, so that's fine. And what else have we got here? What is something we haven't used? Ah, here, just a little bit of a autumn leaves on a tree. Some nice colour in there. And is there anything else we haven't really used? This is just an out of focus background bit of colour. So let's pop that on there. Just to show it doesn't have to be anything. So, and you can definitely see it's wonky because the gap gets wider as we get down to this end. That's fine. I'm not at all worried about it. Could be a bit tricky getting this end though. So I might just overlap that slightly. So it's not going to be quite square. Whoops, slippery. Oh, come on, don't want you there. Gosh, doesn't want to go where I want it. There, that'll do. That's close enough. Some penstemons. And let's go a bit of purple quilt. So as I go along, I'm going to bring the overlap back a bit. Here's a picture. It's just lots of different vegetables arranged, which I thought was quite fun. Some more flowers. Bit of purple painted wood. That's pretty. That was the background of the purple quilt. That's where that came from. And how about some more of these stripies? Stripes are good because you can alter the direction as well. Because these two are the same piece and I've put those that way. This bit I've put vertical. And then I had some tiles. There was a picture with lots of tiles, blue and white tiles. And that's a bit of that. So let's just pop that on the corner there. Shame I didn't think of it earlier because that would have been nice left intact. Right, so I've got a reasonable amount of squares left over. So I'm just going to pop those in the dish so I don't end up with them all on the floor. And who knows, maybe I'll do some more and do another one, because I really like this. So now I could cut those off, of course. I could just trim right around. I do need to trim the corners. Right, just put the lid on my tweezers now that I've finished with them for now. Just gonna trim the corners on a diagonal. Okay, get rid of those scraps. Right, I'm going to start with the challenging side first, because get rid of that glob of glue, because this is going to be the least fun side, because it's a small amount that I'm folding under, or yeah, folding over. But it is in segments, so you can do a little segment at a time. And I think I just need to grab a tissue so I don't end up with a huge mess. In fact, I probably might be easier to run the glue along there, maybe. As long as it doesn't dry before I get the pieces down. So it's not too bad, actually. I'm not finding it too hard. Just a matter of being patient, working your way along. Okay, these are a bit longer, so I'm going to put it on the paper. So what should I put on the inside? I suppose I should have a think about that. I could just do like a sheet of sheet music, or I could use scrapbook paper. I could do more squares if I felt like it, but I don't think I will. It is a reasonably labour intensive process to cut all the squares out, but it's a really good TV thing. You know, I just sat here this morning, had YouTube going, watching lots of different crafters, enjoying what they were doing and learning heaps and being inspired while I punched squares. So yeah, really good activity to do. Now, because these overlap, I'm going to make sure that I get them in the right order. So this one, getting very gluey fingers. So hopefully this is inspiring for you, whether you feel like doing a project like this. Be warned, yeah, it's a little labour intensive, but I think the results are going to be so worth it. And I don't mind a bit of labour intensive, because, you know, it's just making things, and that's what us crafters like to do. We like to make things, so it doesn't really matter whether a project takes a long time or a short time. You just fit it into whatever time you've got. So, you know, you might want to cut squares out over a few days, and then when you think you've got enough, or feel you've got enough, then start gluing them down. You don't have to do everything all at the same time. You could take months to collect up your punched squares. You know, as you see a bit of paper and think, oh, that'd be nice punched into a square, and pop it into a container and build up your supply. If I had have thought ahead, if I'd known what I wanted to do for this video, I probably would have started this process yesterday, so that I didn't start recording this video so late in the day. But that's okay. You're still going to see it at the regular time, so no drama. We don't do drama here. We do happy crafting, nice chat, hang out together. Have you got your cuppa with you? I've got a cup of tea. Speaking of which, I'm just going to take a wee sip. It's already getting cold. I've gone back to having my drinks in just a regular mug, and so they are getting cold on me. I should stick to the travel mug, because the travel mug keeps it nice and hot for a good long time. Even if I'd never take a sip during the entire video, it's still hot when I turn the camera off. And I do enjoy that, having a hot cuppa to turn to rather than a cold, gross one. I'm not really into drinking hot drinks once they've gone cold. I don't like it. My husband doesn't care, and often he will down my cold drinks. He just, yeah, I don't know why, don't know. It's like, it's much more pleasant having them when they're hot. But anyway, at least it doesn't go to waste. Except if he's not home, like he's working, then I just tip it out and start again. Unless I'm desperate, and then I'll just drink it and make another one. Get rid of the cold grossness. Make a fresh one. Right, one side left to go. And my conversation, I am sorry, is probably not the most riveting thing to listen to in your day right now. Have I got anything interesting to talk about? We watched some movies over the weekend, some ones that we'd seen before. So we watched Man of Steel, which is the, it's probably a few years old now, the latest Superman one. And then we watched Batman vs Superman. And when we watched them originally, there was time in between them. And I wasn't that fussed on Batman vs Superman. I thought the whole concept was weird. Like, why would Batman and Superman be fighting? Very well done movie. Like, don't get me wrong, it's very well done, full of action. It's got it's got all the key things there. Oops, I need to glue that one first. But in terms of the storyline, I just couldn't quite gel, because they're both heroes, right? One is human and one is Kryptonian or alien. So I couldn't work out why they would be fighting. But when you watch them back to back, and the beginning of Batman vs Superman, the scenes are the same as near the end of Man of Steel. So you get this really good crossover flow of events that actually explain why. When they first came out, there was time between them, so you couldn't really remember, or I couldn't. I've got a bad movie memory, very bad movie memory, because I'm usually doing something else while the movie's playing. But watching them back to back, you get a deeper appreciation for the storyline, and it all makes sense. And I could say, okay, yes, now I understand. So, tip, if you haven't seen the movies, I recommend watching them back to back. And if, like me, you're a bit confused, it's like, what's really going on here, then maybe watch them again and watch them back to back, and they give you a totally different point of view. I love that. I don't want to fold it just yet, I don't think, while the glue is drying. So let's think about in here. And I don't know what I want to do. I should have thought about it, and I didn't. And my drawer where I've got my paper stored is got magazines stacked up in front of it, funnily enough, because I was using magazines for this. So just give me a second. just going to throw some stuff further away. Yep, all the magazines to get into my drawer. I don't even know if this idea is going to work, but let's grab just a bit of paper. Is that going to be sufficient? Almost. Don't really need the crusty bits of glue from where I tore it out of the pad. Okay, I'm thinking I've got some gaps. What do I want to do about the gaps? I mean, I could use a bit of scrapbook paper and cut that down instead. We can put that higher because we've got more of an overlap down here. And all we need to do is actually put some squares along this edge. So let's just do that since we've got some here. Let's go ahead and put some squares. Why not? Don't even have to worry about what they are because they're only a little bit of them going to be seen. Now I'm not lining them up with the other squares. Just laying them down. And let's go with this pink bit. And I don't want the full bit, so I'm just going to trim a bit off. There we go. And now I'm going to use glue stick, I think. Just cover this middle bit. And then I'll go around the edges and put some tacky glue in under there. Not too super critical because I am going to cover it in probably packing tape actually. But just so I'm not fighting with it getting sort of off kilter or bent up or caught up in the tape when I put it on. Just going to make sure that it lies flat and nice for me. So it's good to have a few extra of your squares. So definitely the longest part of this process was punching all the squares out. I won't sugarcoat that, it just is what it is. But I quite enjoyed it. It was quite, you know, quite therapeutic just sitting there punching out. Not too many issues using the double layer of paper. So I do recommend that to save yourself some frustration and wasted squares because they tear when you're trying to get them out, you know, all that sort of thing. And just use whatever scrap paper you've got. Junk mail, although junk mail often is shiny, so perhaps not. I'd recommend like a photocopy weight paper would be my recommendation. Okay, I think I'm going to do packing tape before I fold this. Now I do want a month label. Do I want to put that under the packing tape or over top? I could do either. Oops, that one's then fold it up. Let's get rid of, fold that back down, glue it down. Shall we look at which way is going to be front? So it's either going to be this, which I think is lovely, or this. I think I like this one better. So it's going to be this way. Did I just feel a corner that was, yep, there's another corner. Because I haven't glued them down properly. This is, you know, I'm just doing a little fix-up job here and there. So this is our front. So let's grab a label. And I'm going to use one of my labels. Do we want red or green? Now, where's my tweezers? Where'd I put them? Actually, we might actually, let's see what size and shape we want. So we've got this one, which is going to completely cover over, well, not necessarily, we could put it in the middle. Where's our fold going to be? So we're at 12.5 basically, so we're going to be 6 1/4. So our center here is going to be 3 1/8. So it would need to be like there. We could put it up. I don't want to cover all the daffodils though. Could put it right in the middle, but I don't like that idea of being right in the middle. We could bring it down here, which I quite like. We could go with a smaller one or an oval one. I do quite like the bigger one though. Let's use the bigger one. And let's write on it. And I think I'll put it under the packing tape. Grab out a calligraphy pen. Oh, got glue all over my fingers. It's very distracting. Have I got room to write September? Oh well, it's only a printable. We can always print it off and just use another label in the meantime. Right, so just very plain writing. Just letting the pen do its thing. Yeah, kind of straight. And the year. I'll do a little decorative bit there, just because. And give it some glue. There we go. So we haven't lost any whole square by going in between them all. So we've got little bits showing, which I like. Okay, let's grab out the packing tape. I'll pop this away so we don't end up with it getting stuck with the packing tape. Now, I haven't thought about glitter or anything. Do I want anything like that? In fact, I have this glitter paint. I guess I could put this on. It wouldn't matter if it hasn't dried before I put the packing tape on, because it will be encapsulated under the tape. Shall we do some of that? Okay, excuse my reach. I'm just going to grab all the way over. Like, that was a really bad reach, wasn't it? Grab the brush furthest away from me. Oh, take the lid off. And spread some of this around. Oops, got some gunky bits around the top there. Let's just put some around our label. I might be totally ruining it with this, but never mind. I'm going to give it a little bit of a shine. Oops, don't know what that is. Bit of blue something, but don't need it on this. It'll probably dry fairly quickly anyway because the fire's going, and it's actually turned out into quite a warm day out there after a cold start. Cold, wet start actually. Now it's sunny and beautiful, almost spring day. So this is, the base is yellow but quite translucent. So I feel like I can spread it with abandon and it's not gonna, you know, cover over. Whoops, there's another crumb. So I'm being very liberal. In fact, I seem to be covering the entire jolly thing. Why not? Let's just have fun with it. Yep, those areas that I did first are now dry, so it's going to dry very quickly. Oops, I've got none on the daffodils. Terrible. Daffodils need some extra yellow, don't they? Some glittery yellow. Right, I think that's probably quite adequate. Just for a bit of shimmer and shine and fun. Right, now I've got a brush that needs water and I don't have water available. Okay, we'll just carefully set it aside there. And let's grab our tape and put some tape over it. So I like to go vertical. Oh, that's very loud. I do apologise if you don't like the sound of pulling tape. It's very loud, isn't it? Okay, so I like to leave overlap at the top and bottom and the sides. And when I lay them, I like to overlap the strips as well. Oh, I actually like the effect of the glitter paint. I'm glad I did that. Now I've got to try and see where my last line of tape ended. So guys, let me know if there is a trashy related project, maybe it's a material or something that you would like to see done. I don't know what it might be, but you might have some ideas on something you think, gee, I wonder what I should do with this, or is there anything that can be done with this, whatever it is. Let me know, and you know, it might feature in an upcoming video, who knows. can be hard sometimes to come up with ideas of things to do with our trash. You know, it's got potential, but you're just not quite sure what. Well, I'm open to the challenge. If you want to challenge me to a particular something, you know, if it's available here in New Zealand, because, you know, sometimes we don't have things that other countries do have. But I'm up for a challenge. If you want to challenge me, then by all means. Throw your ideas down in the comment section. Right, we're almost there. I think this should be the last strip, I think. I've gone crooked, so we are going to have to add one more strip. Oh, do we? For safety's sake, I think yes. Not absolutely necessary, but I just want to make life a little bit easier when I fold it over, that it's going to stick nice and easily. Okay, so now I'm just going to put my little folded bit back there so I'm not hunting for the end of my tape next time I use it. Just stick the other bit there. Right. Oops. Have I stuck it? No. Right. Turn it over. And I've got all sorts of fingerprints in there. And this is where my scissors get all gummed up. And my fingers. Yeah, cutting the tape's not the most fun thing to do, but it's part of the process. Right, so fold this bit up. Now, I don't mind being able to see the tape. I would rather have my journal be secure and long lasting. So I'm not worried about seeing the tape on the inside. Where'd that other bit go? I've lost a bit. Don't know. It's hiding on me. Probably is actually. Probably physics. Oh no, there it is. Found it. If it was probably dropped down, sticking to my top. Right, now the side or end. And it will get wrinkles and stuff. Again, I don't mind that. It's just adding extra texture in there. And then all our different lengths here. Now I haven't sorted out pages or anything for this journal, so it'll just be the cover itself that I make on camera. Because I'll be having to grab pages and things from a different room, so we won't do that today. I think probably this video is long enough just doing the cover anyway. I do have some grubby bits in under there off my fingers. That's okay. It's all good. It's only my journal. And, you know, I've got glitter, I've got glue. I'm a mess. I am the typical crafter mess right now. I like to work cleanly, but I cannot say I'm working cleanly right now. So yes, that's very grubby under the tape. If I'd cleaned my fingers from all the glue, that would have been so much nicer. But never mind, it's all good. If it really bugs me, I could go ahead and put another layer of paper over top. But I'm I'm not that precious about it. It's okay. Maybe a pocket or something. Who knows? Right, so this is our front. Let's fold it. I'm going to get some crinkles in that paper. Again, not worried. The hardest part I find is trying to fold it straight and get the crease where you want it. Give it a good burnish. And there is my September journal cover. Not so thrilled with the glitter on this part, but it's okay. It's fine. Again, it's just my journal, just playing, experimenting. I do like the glitter that's showing up all through. Maybe I should have let it dry before I put the packing tape on, because there's areas where I can see it's a little bit interesting. But again, interesting. Not a bad thing. I love that patchwork cover. I think that's super fun. Yay! I'm happy with it. I really enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this too. I hope it's given you an idea or two. Or that you just got a good laugh at me doing it. There's always that possibility. I do appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it when you leave a thumbs up on my videos and when you leave me a comment. It just really thrills my heart. And I do respond to each and every one, unless it's one of those silly spammy promo things, which I haven't got time for. But I know that's not you. You're a good friend. Okay, take care, my friend. I will see you back for the next video. Bye for now.